It's time we give back. Sow a seed and show someone where love's at. Even if you don't give a dime, give your heart and share your time. Help somebody else in life. Give back. Let's give back.
Welcome to this episode of Ignite, Empower, Transform. My name is Hosea James Givan II, a program where we showcase urban superheroes here in the Bronx and around the world. Today we have a very special guest, an old friend, longtime friend, my man, Mahaliel, Bethea. How you doing, fam?
Yeah, doing excellent, man.
Excellent, brother. Thanks for joining us today.
Good.
We've been working on trying to get you on this program for seems like 6 months, man.
Like crazy, but you know, I said I'll be here. We definitely gonna make it happen.
Glad to have you here, man. So when I talk about urban superheroes, we're looking at a live urban superhero. This is a brother who is a master martial artist. He is an actor. He is an entrepreneur. He is a husband, a father, and a good friend. You know, we've sharing stories on the way back. We kind of are just kind of rekindling our friendship, but mutual friends of ours, that told me a lot.
Rekindling in the car, we're talking about
exactly,
it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, great.
Exactly. Why don't you start out by just telling us a little bit about your start, how you got into martial arts, man?
Well, first of all, the martial arts world, and most people know me as Sensei Mo or Professor Mo. And the reason why was the first time I was on a movie set, they were saying, Mahaliel, Mahaliel, is Mahaliel here? And I'm sitting right here. And Mahaliel, where is Mahaliel? Where's this dude at? And Bethea, I said, hey man, is it Mahaliel, Bethea? They go, yeah, that's you. Get on the set. We need you right now. So I wanted to give them an easy name.
Right.
So everybody was very comfortable. Like I was telling you earlier, when I was fighting Jet Li, people were comfortable with Sensei Mo.
Right.
Oh, Sensei Mo, okay, because they were all into the martial arts thing between what me and Jet Li was doing.
Right.
You know, so that's what everybody knows me. So everybody from the Bronx and from Harlem, wherever, they're going to know me as Professor Mo or Sensei Mo.
Right.
So definitely, I started in martial arts at about 10, and I think I was a good kid. I think I was a nice kid. But, you know, the bad guys always follow you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
You're a
can't,
magnet. You're a magnet.
Yeah, you're a magnet for the bad guys, you know. So my family thought my father was a martial artist. My brother, my sister was also a boxer. And they
back when it wasn't really popular for females to box.
My sister was a boxer. She was also had an opportunity. She was supposed to be flying jets for the Air Force.
Oh, wow.
And that was a big deal at that time for my sister Maria, who was in the Air Force.
Okay.
To be able to be part of that team.
Right.
You know, but my sister was always like, let's go. And when the boys would pick on you, they knock on the door and say, okay, y'all gonna fight.
Right.
You know, and I remember them saying to me one day, you're gonna fight him until he says uncle. And we fought, and it was getting dark, and this kid name was Beanie. Beanie beat me every time. He said, yo, man, come on, man. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Come on, man, come on. You won, all right, you won. And my sister Maria like, no, y'all still going.
Wow.
So that's the kind of testicular fortitude that she had as far as never giving up.
Right.
And she never gave up in her life, so I never gave up either.
Right.
So I didn't know that martial arts was going to be the road for me. I really didn't know.
Right.
As I was saying to you earlier, you know, I lived my high school years playing basketball.
Right.
And then all of a sudden after basketball, well, I stopped with basketball because the theater, I got an opportunity to do some work. I sang in a group called The Moment of Truth.
Oh, you got vocal skills.
South Soul Records.
Okay.
So when I got on the troop, when I started singing with The Moment of Truth, I'm 18 years old.
Oh, wow.
And these guys are all men. I'm leaving high school. And when I got a chance to sing with the Moment of Truth, it was like, man, girls?
Right.
You kidding me?
Right.
Other things that I shouldn't be, but in adult life.
Right.
So basketball, which I love so much,
Right.
just left.
Right. Right.
And then after the singing didn't really work out the way it was, I went to school for theater.
Right.
And
Where'd you go?
I went to City College.
Right.
I went to their theater program. I minored in film. And I actually had plays off Broadway. My plays played at the La Mama Theater. My plays also played at the 18th Street Playhouse. So when I was a student, I was working. When I'm sitting in front of my professor, I actually was working in the theater, but also minored in film.
Right.
Fast forward, you know, I get kids, life changes, I
Right.
got to get this job, I got to make X amount of money. But I've always been an athlete,
Right.
so the martial arts becomes a bigger part of my life.
Right.
The martial arts was just easier than basketball, even though I did play on West 4th Street in the summertime.
Right.
I was a mainstay there. But playing in the leagues and stuff like that, just the martial arts was more of an individual thing.
Right.
And I had no idea that I was going to be a world champion. I had no idea that I was going to be in the Hall of Fame. I did not know. But I just did it like I approached everything else. Hard. This is what my sister would say.
Right.
Go hard.
Right.
So as I was doing this, I started working, like I told you, in alternative to incarceration program.
Right.
And one day I have my daughter in my hand, and I have my son, and Wesley Snipes comes through. And this was during Demolition. I had did some of the choreography to Demolition, but I didn't know he knew.
Right.
So we're at the 125th Street Mart. Wesley comes to me, goes, "What's up, Sensei? How you doing?" I said, "Good. I'm gonna be famous. I'm gonna be famous." And I'm going, he kind of cocky. He said, "Come with me." And I was like, "Nah, I can't, man. My son just got glasses. I need the medical. I can't do it." So I didn't take that leap of faith.
Right.
Now, as you know, from Demolition Man, 5 years later, he's a major star. He's
A-list star.
one of
A-list.
the biggest stars in the world.
Yeah.
So,
I need you to hold on to that thought because we have to have a public service announcement break.
oh, no problem.
And we'll be right back.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How is it? Is it good?
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
Welcome back to this episode of Ignite, Empower, Transform. I am here with the Grandmaster, Professor Mo. That's how they know you're in town, right?
That is the long title, yeah.
For the Grandmaster, Hall of Fame, defeated Jet Li. Brother, you have quite a resume, man. And we were just on the verge of hearing, coming from the story of you and Wesley, how you really blossomed into this megastar.
Well, Wesley becomes a big mega star.
Right.
Right? Me, when I left that job, like I told you earlier about, I was listening to these Tony Robbins tapes.
Right.
And personal power.
Right.
And the reason why I did it, and I tell people this story, the reason why I did it is because I was so reluctant because it was $149. I'm like, I can't spend $149. I don't have $149. What does my friend do? My friend says, well, give me the tapes, because he has personal towers. So he dubs these tapes. This is back in the day.
Right.
He gives me all 10. This is my dojo brother.
Right.
In the martial arts, we call each other dojo brothers. He gives it to me. So I said, man, anything to shut this dude up.
Right.
So I meet another student of ours. She was just very Afrocentric, independent, had a business of making these bags, they're beautiful bags, one-of-a-kind bags. And she lived in Midtown. Like I lived in the Bronx.
Right.
You know, and David James, Professor David James, lived in Brooklyn, but she lived right by Radio City Music Hall. Okay. So we were impressed with that address.
Oh, yeah.
And she goes, I heard Dave gave you the personal power tapes. I said, yeah. And I was being dismissive. Yeah. He said, do you have the workbook? I said, workbook? There's a workbook? She said, yeah. So when Zuri makes the workbook for me, as you know, it wasn't like. So I said, well, if she's willing to make a workbook for me, and he's willing to do these tapes, I have to be willing to at least listen to them.
Right.
So I would come to work early, get up 6 in the morning, come to work, 8 o'clock, I'm listening to these tapes, I start crying. Somebody comes to my office and goes, you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Just give me a minute, man. I'm all right.
Right.
Got up. This is Tony Robbins asking you, where do you see your life?
Right.
Are you happy with your life? Are you driving the car you want to drive?
Right.
Have you gone to the places that you want to go to?
Right.
And I just found out I'm not happy.
Right.
So I get up and I walk to the human resources and I say, how long does it have to be when you make your resignation? Say anytime you want. But I understand why, because you're great, they want to make you a supervisor, they want to make you a director. And I said, okay, good, but how long? So I sign off and I'm done. When I leave that job, now I spend all my time, I started lifting weights. And somebody had asked me to work security. So, because, I'm in the gym, everybody's like this now.
Right.
250 pounds of muscle.
Right.
And I said, okay. So I started doing security work. And then from the security work, I opened up a security business. And I started hiring other guys and also training them in the martial arts. And I had my martial arts school going. And as I told you, I met a gentleman who told me, if you got to stand outside in a clown suit, do that.
Right.
And build your business.
Right.
So I built the martial arts business, and as building the martial arts business, I had the martial arts business / the security business. Now money's coming in. I'm driving a beautiful Lexus. And everything's going well. I moved my kids from the Bronx. No offense, Bronx family, but Scarsdale is a little better.
Yeah,
so,
depends on the Bronx, but go ahead.
Depends
on the part. That's right.
We moved up to Scarsy and cool, and things were looking really good.
Right.
So somebody calls me, this martial arts promoter, his name is Lamar Thornton, he's a big martial arts promoter, always been supportive of me. I retired.
As a martial artist?
From fighting.
Right.
I was on the national karate team, the Fab Five national karate team. I was captain of the Fab Five national karate team.
You're a leader, bro.
Yeah, well, as captain of the Fab Five national karate team, I retired. So I said, I'm just going to go around and do seminars or whatever. But Lamar Thornton calls me, says, hey, man, look, I got a big event happening. It's called Tribute to the Masters, Wesley Snipes. All the great martial artists are coming out. Bill Wallace, Benny the Jet, everybody's coming to this event. You gotta fight for the championship.
Wow.
So I said, well, is it a world championship? He said, yeah, it's a TNT world champion you fight. I said, look, man, I've been out of this thing for a minute. So, of course, they changed it up a little bit in what it was supposed to be. But like he said, everybody was there.
Wow.
So I said, okay, since now you're adding other fights, because what it was I was supposed to be the only fight. Mm-hmm. But as the words got around, they wanted more fights. So I don't care about them. I will fight the first fight. He said, don't worry, you're fighting the first fight. So as I had to train for this fight. Now, I wasn't out of shape,
right?
But I was muscular, not,
right.
It's a different kind of
Absolutely.
athleticism.
Yeah.
So I'm
flexibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still had the flex, so I'm speed training.
Right.
And working on my agility,
right.
trying to do that.
Right.
I did that. I only had a month to train.
Wow.
So I go in, and Wesley's a big star now, and he's moving around, and everybody's moving different. But I know Wes.
Right.
Feel me? So Wesley's a big star. He's moving around, and they said, "Yeah, Wes bet money that this kid is going to beat you." I said, "What? Really?" So I come out with my entourage. All my guys are walking with me, and I go, "Where's Wesley?" And it was at City College. It was at my alma mater.
Right.
So Wesley went into the bathroom, and guess who was his bodyguard that day? My karate instructor.
Wow.
Reno Morales. Grandmaster Reno Morales was his bodyguard that day. So I'm walking in. I said, "Where's Wesley?" He said, "He's in the bathroom." Cool. I kicked the bathroom door. Wow! I walked over there, and Wesley's, taking a whiz. And I go, "Yo, I heard you bet against me. Your man's going down in second." I'm just playing.
Right.
And Wes is playing right along with me. Yeah, okay, whatever. And he continues to do what he's doing. My instructor is behind me going, "Stop. Hey, what are you doing?"
Right.
But he didn't know that Wesley and I had a prior relationship.
Right.
So the fight goes my way. Mm-hmm. Man goes down the second round, and I'm talking smack.
Right.
I learned how to trash talk from basketball, so
right.
I'm trash talking. So Wes calls me for about 2 weeks. He said, "Yo, man, you gotta train me. I'm doing this other movie. I'm doing The Art of War, and I'm doing another Blade. You gotta work with me. You gotta be blah blah blah." I said, "Yeah, man, but remember I told you a thing called Tybo came out. So now I'm making money running security, teaching Tybo, and having a martial arts school.
Right.
You're leaving a lot.
Right.
But if I didn't leave, Wesley was my shot to actually get into the movie business."
Right. Hold that thought, brother. We're going to come one more time, and we'll be right back.
Oh, no problem.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
It took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
How prepared is your family if disaster shows up at your doorstep? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan before they show up. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes! Make a plan today.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science, become the mayor or something, make the situation better for other people. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
Welcome back to this final segment of Ignite, Empower, Transform. I am here with the Grandmaster, Professor Mahaliel Bethea. Finally, man, we're going to get to this story that I'm just so excited to, as we're coming over here, driving from uptown, I discovered that you actually defeated Jet Li in a match.
Well, actually, I fought him in a movie, not a match. Yeah, I didn't fight Jet. We were in a movie called The One.
So in the movie, wait, I saw The One.
Yeah, I'm in the movie. I'm the guy fighting him. Dario Lindo doesn't know martial arts.
Oh.
And let me tell you, my mother calls me. I'm in L.A. My mother goes, "Hey, baby, did you see? They got a story of you on Entertainment Tonight." I said, yeah. No, you need to get a copy of that. I'm telling my mom, Ma, I'm the stunt guy. It's all about Jet. She said, no, they're talking about you. And when I get it, the whole story is about my stunt that I do with Jet Li.
Wow.
My mother was right. She said, get that copy.
Wow.
I think that's a martial artist's dream.
So I get it now. So you had the actor, and then you had yourself doing the actual fight scenes.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, I saw that movie, man.
Yes,
I did not know that was you.
Yeah, well, you can go on YouTube. It comes up.
I'm
Sensei Mo and Jet Li.
Wow.
So I love about modern technology. It's changed the game in so many ways.
That's crazy, man.
But anyway, at the end of this, what happened was, so I fight the fight. It goes well for me. He asked me to work with him and leave with him. This is the second time this brother came to me.
Right, Wesley Snipes. Yep.
I had to do this because I'm leaving. I'm living good.
And there's a lot of stability where you were.
So I went to be his bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
And then being his bodyguard just opened up the door for other things and allowed me to actually get into the movie business.
Right.
And then I moved to Canada. So I lived in Canada.
What part?
I lived in Montreal.
Oh, I love Montreal.
Oh, I love it too.
Yeah.
It's too cold now.
Yeah.
But I lived in Montreal for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, I went to school for theater, so I'm writing plays, writing movies.
Right.
And Isaac Hayes, who was one of my students, Isaac Hayes, I was supposed, after Jet Li and I did The One, I was supposed to be the transporter.
Really?
Right. But when they decided, I think that BMW didn't think that a black guy could be the lead.
Wow.
There was another guy who was in the movie with us. Jason Statham was in the movie, right?
Yeah, that's who wound up.
So Jason Statham is an athlete, and he wanted to fight Jet, and he's a good actor. No hard feelings at all.
Right.
But when I didn't get the gig, I go to Isaac Hayes, and I go, yo, man, I didn't get it, blah, blah, blah. And Isaac Hayes says to me, he's Mahaliel, you're an actor, you're right. Do your own film. I said, I'll do it if you're in it. And he did. So if you can go to Amazon, or you can go, soon you'll be able to go to Hulu, and you look up The Empty Hands, and you'll see me 20 years younger, and you'll also see Isaac Hayes in the movie The Empty Hands.
Wow.
So Isaac Hayes did it.
I want you to take a look at some pictures, man.
Sure.
All right, let's look on the screen over here. So, we went to junior high school together, IS 238. We were in the first graduating class. That's me.
That's right. It was a brand new school, right? So we were the first graduating class.
That's me there. And
you're a handsome kid, man.
Yeah, it's all in the genes. You can thank my parents for that. And then we got we can pull up. There you go. There's Professor Mo. Professor Mo. What would you say to this person, with all that you know? What kind of advice would you give this person to prepare him for what he needs to do in life?
Stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
Stay focused. Understand what it is that you want, and stay focused. First of all, I love my life. I've loved everything I've done in my life. But there were times when I didn't have my eye on the prize.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to keep your eye on the prize.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep your eye on the prize, when you look at these great athletes or people that are successful, the difference between them and us is that they're able to, like every year I shut it down for 30 days.
Okay.
Or I may, one time I shut it down for 90 days.
Okay.
A lot of us can't do that,
Right.
you know, especially now with social media.
Right.
Just shut it down and focus on your dreams, your aspirations, and what you've done, and what it is you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
See, we get upset when we're not successful at things, but when have we shut it down? You can't continue to go to the club.
Right.
You can't. I can't play basketball with you every morning.
Right.
Something's got to go.
Right.
You know. So when we look at the lives of people that have been successful on whatever level, like even when I first got into the film industry, I realized there was the multi-million-dollar film, but there's a whole B level, like martial art movies are B levels.
Right.
They're not big budget films.
Right.
Zombie movies they're not big budget films.
Right.
And there's people that live on that level. Everybody, we told the actors, everybody can't look for Denzel money. If we all look for Denzel money, ain't none of us working.
Amen. So we got about 90 seconds left, man. One of the reasons why we do this show is to try to recapture some of the things that we were able to take advantage of, what we were beneficiaries of when we were kids, right? You talked to me about a story of a barbershop supporting you and one of our mutual friends.
Yeah.
And that kind of support from the community helped to change your life, right?
True.
Gave you opportunity. So everything that I feel has to happen going forward with our generation is figuring out ways to give back and to pass on what we've learned. You do this through your martial arts schools and to training and developing athletes.
And that comes from those barbershop guys. Because when I was in college, I finished college, I was in graduate school, and Eddie Skinner came to see one of my plays at the Poetry Theater on 170-something.
On Jamaica Avenue.
And I told Eddie Skinner how much I appreciated him, and he said, just give it back, man.
Amen.
Just do it for somebody else.
Amen.
So, you know, I started my martial arts program. You know, when I first started, I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was reaching out and being a man figure for these young people, you know, as those guys in the barbershop were for me and for our mutual friend.
Yeah. And that mutual friend is Gerald Gloucester. So at this point, I'm going to thank you, brother, for joining us, man. This was zoomed by, brother. This was great, man. We want to thank you for joining us for this episode of Ignite, Empower, Transform. And remember, if it's in your heart, do your part. Today's help equals tomorrow's hope. I love our youth. Power to the people.
Salute.